Hello, I'm Josh Slagter. I'm here with David Mayo from MMALive.com. And Dave, we just witnessed Floyd Mayweather with a tough unanimous decision against Miguel Cotto. And one of the things I think I heard you commenting to other media people around press row after the fight is that this may have been Mayweather's toughest fight. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. The only other fight that compares to me is the first Jose Luis Castillo fight in 2002 that was disputed and resulted in a rematch. But this was physically a much tougher fight than the Castillo fight. The difference in the Castillo fight was Castillo came on in the second half of the fight and made it a little bit closer in some people's minds. So some people might regard it as tougher in that regard, in that, this fight, Mayweather wins all four, 9th through the 12th rounds on all three scorecards. But take a whole 12 rounds, the totality of the fight, easily, without question, the most physically rugged fight of Mayweather's career.
And how close were even some of those rounds? I mean, like I said, we said the first 8 rounds, you could have it, in the 5-3, 6-2 range. But even if somebody had him up 6-2, those are close rounds. I mean, it seemed like there were a lot of heavy shots being exchanged by both fighters.
Well, I thought 9 through 12, I thought it would be difficult to give any of those rounds to Cotto. So you have to have it. You've got to be within. Do my math. You'd have to be 4 rounds ahead to get a draw. You'd have to be up 6-2, in my mind, if you're Cotto, to get a draw. So the problem with the scoring the fight is, and was a little bit all over the board. The guy from USA Today, Bob Vellin, had Cotto winning, sitting right next to me by 2 points, and I had Mayweather by 6 points, and we're 3 inches apart. The problem with it, as you mentioned, I thought in particular, Josh, the second and third rounds were really razor thin. Mayweather clearly wins the first with not doing much, but he clearly wins the first round. The second and third can go either way. I gave one of them to Cotto, one of them to Mayweather. I know some people gave both of them to Cotto. So how you score the second and third rounds is going to go a long way toward how this fight ends up on your scorecard, because Cotto has a really good fifth round, and then kind of gave it back a little bit in the 6th and 7th, and they have one of the better rounds of the year in the 8th. Really a sizzling round, and then Mayweather whitewashes him down the stretch.
Mayweather in his post-fight press conference said he just decided he was going to give the fans what they want, and he even used one of his usual expletives. But how much of this was Father Time catching up to him a little bit, not being able to get away from him, but also, too, like I said, now he's kind of, like I say, fan-friendly style, as Oscar called it here tonight. I mean, how much of it is just kind of like him changing himself as he's exiting his career here a little bit?
Yeah, I think there's a big part of that. I don't think that he probably really believes that he could get up on his toes and dance for 12 rounds. Do I believe he could at 35 get up on his toes and dance 12 rounds? I don't think that's in him anymore. But I think it's extremely intriguing to watch how he doesn't have to do it. How the Mayweather of 130 and 135 pounds, the young guy, the skinny guy, the mover, the dancer, the precocious, look at me, look what I can do guy, is gone now. This is the fighter who stands down in front of you and shows you he can stand in a pocket with you, who shows you he can let you back him into a corner, and he's still going to rip you. He's still going to do the better work on the inside. He can beat you inside, he can beat you outside, he can beat you mid-ring, he can beat you on the ropes. Complete fighter. He likes to show that too.
And now the biggest question is, when will he fight again? The who is maybe even a bigger question. He goes to jail June 1st, as everybody knows. Mm-hmm. What do you think it's realistic that he fights middle of November, first week of December, or do you think that coming out of a physical fight here that maybe he has to rethink that plan to fight again this year?
That's a good question. The ruggedness of the fight really adds another element to that, because obviously most likely he's going to do 57 days. He'll get the 30 days off for good behavior and performance of any assigned work duties, and I seriously doubt there will be any assigned work duties. But, on July 27th or 28th, however that works, he'll be eligible to be released early with good behavior, I would suspect. Well, now you've only got August, the rest of July, 4 days in July. You've got August, September, October, November, and until December 8th, Saturday, December 8th is the last day you can have a pay-per-view fight this year. If the fight's not negotiated while he's in jail, there won't be a fight on December 8th. You don't have time to do the training camp and do the press tour and all those things that are necessary to get a pay-per-view promotion pulled together. So now, I mean, you throw in the ruggedness on the fight on top of the already delicate timing. There's a really good possibility that I don't think he waits till next May, Josh, but maybe a January pay-per-view is even a possibility because you can do a January pay-per-view.
And because of that, even with January, with the the shorter maybe negotiation window, does that mean guys like Amir Khan, guys like Canelo, who beat Shane Mosley tonight, are they the best or the most likely opponents for him just because of how maybe easy they'll be able to put that fight together?
Right, yeah, I think probably Amir Khan or Canelo, and I think Khan is probably the favorite between those two, just chronology and time of his career, and Canelo could certainly use another fight or two to get ready for Mayweather and let Mayweather get older. Let's be frank, if you're trying to build Canelo Alvarez at that point, you're not worried about getting Floyd Mayweather a W, you're worried about getting him an L. So and putting on my promoter's hat and thinking like a promoter for a minute. So yeah, I think Khan probably makes the most sense. It's the most makeable fight, and particularly if he really is intent on fighting again in December, it's almost got to be an in-house fighter with Golden Boy. So yeah, Khan, Alvarez, those are the guys most likely. Khan.
And the last question, the question that's always asked, and he responded to Pacquiao stuff again today, and he basically put the onus on Bob Arum of not making this fight. Is that where you still stand on this? Like where Floyd has offered his flat fee, doesn't seem he wants to budget. Is this come down to Bob Arum or Pacquiao going to Arum and saying, make this fight happen?
I think it's been Pacquiao telling Arum to make this fight happen for 3 years now. They've jerked us around and waffled around. He's been offered $40 million flat. I don't know if he's made more than $15 million in a fight in his career. A lot of what Mayweather says actually makes financial sense. That's the problem with this. I know he can be really a hard-edged guy, and this can be hard to swallow, that this guy actually might be right. But he just made a $32 million guarantee plus a pay-per-view cut tonight. That's 3 fights for Manny Pacquiao. So to think that Pacquiao deserves 50-50 with a guy who could make that kind of money is kind of absurd, because Mayweather knows what's going to happen if he gives him 50-50. They're going to make a 50-50 contract. Arum's going to sign his contract with Pacquiao for whatever those terms are, and all the rest of that money is going into Bob Arum's vault. So, he's been around a little bit. He knows what the ins and outs are. And I have not heard him, and no one in this room has, I'll guarantee you, and no one's heard him as adamant as he was tonight that the fight's not going to happen. He firmly believes that Bob Arum is a stumbling block. I believe for a long time that Bob Arum was a stumbling block. If they want to make that fight happen, they'll make it happen.
Okay, Dave, great stuff. And that wraps up our coverage here in Las Vegas this week.